Finally, the drought update itself is showing some improvement. And the overall percentages for all these different levels of drought that we have in the state, which most of them, by the way, are at least severe and higher, or at least moderate and higher, but generally severe and higher. Those percentages have all come down, meaning we are seeing some rain. Obviously, we know that, right? But it is getting better as far as the amount goes. So this is the really driest area right here. That's exceptional. That is getting better. And we've had some inroads down here in Manatee and Sarasota, all the way down towards southwest Florida and a little bit in the Tampa Bay area. And probably at your house, too. This is not exact, right? And this is kind of the forecast. Look how much of the country, though, is in a drought right now, and especially the southeast. And now it's going all the way up the east coast up into Maine. So, yeah, things have dried out just a little bit. All right, we've definitely got some tropical moisture, though, right? That's the other side of this. It's been pouring up across out of the western Caribbean in the eastern Gulf, and you can see it's pushing in this direction. Now, we're starting with more of a westerly wind that's going to take all of this and push it more towards the east coast in the afternoon hours. That's the pattern change we've been talking about. Look at this shower right here. Bearcan Islands right off in the distance there. You can see this one little shower. That's it right there. All right, it's starting to get a little bit wider going into Gibsonton. But look at South Tampa. Yeah, that's the Selman Expressway, Gandy Boulevard. You can see Bayshore, all rain here, especially on the south side of Bayshore. In fact, it's now raining into Davis Islands and in Harbor Island, and will continue to move off towards the north and the east. The heaviest rain, though, has been out here in eastern parts of northeastern Hillsborough County. Most of that has now started to dry up, but we still, what time we got? We still have a flood advisory in effect there until 6:30 this evening, because we saw about 1 to 3 inches of rainfall. That was really heavy on I-4 out there, but you can see it's breaking up just a little bit. Heavier storms in eastern parts of Polk County, Hardy, DeSoto, this Highway 17 stretch from Wauchula down to Arcadia. Yeah, a little rainy right now. No severe weather at this point. I don't expect it either, but we'll watch those storms for you, of course. And nothing out here. And I bring that up because we had a bunch out here yesterday, and it got right along the immediate coast. 5 inches of rain estimated near Holmes Beach last night, about 2, 3 in the morning. All right, next 12 hours, we'll fall back down out of the 80s, eventually into the upper 70s for overnight lows. Rain chance, 30% tomorrow. It's mostly inland. It's actually a drier day for Tampa. Saturday's up in the air. I went 40%, a little bit more, but this looks a little too much for me. All right, I'll show you that coming up. Sunday, 50%, something in the first half of the day along the coast. Inland, the second half. Monday, Tuesday, starting to mix in some drier air. I didn't want to drop the rain a whole lot because we had high rain chances, but it looks like we may be dropping those just a touch as we get into, especially by the middle of next week. Air temps, mid-80s. Water temp, 84. West winds today, tonight, tomorrow. West winds all the way through Tuesday. Means you're going to stay warm and muggy along the coast. A little bit cooler in the mornings for inland locations, especially if you see some showers. Speaking of showers, that's 8 o'clock tonight. See all the rain moving inland? Mainly dry along the coast. Very small rain chance. It's not a big deal. Tomorrow morning, isolated along the coast until about 12:30 to 1:30. And then that develops, and it too pushes inland, and we dry things back out. Now, this model will show it being very dry on Saturday. This model shows Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon. That's up in the air. Tampa itself's on the south side of that, so especially south of there, I think will be drier. That's why we're kind of up in the air. I went 40% on there. And if it's not complicated enough with all these different air masses, we've got Saharan dust. Look how much is out there in the Atlantic, and some of it's curving up and coming right over top of us. It's not a lot, but when that gets in the air over top of us, it tends to dry it out a little bit. So that's going to help kind of cut down. And then this is the big question for next week. This is Sunday. Look at this. This is a backdoor front trying to come down. There's some drier air mixing in Tuesday into Wednesdays. Does that get in here? If it does, our dew points come way down. It's going to feel like fall, kind of, when we get all the summer heat and humidity and then we get a little break. Not saying that's going to happen yet, but hedging our bets and lowering the rain chances as we get to Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week.